Hey, 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 it's Brandi and Cesley, and we are back with Blooming Through Faith, the podcast that helps you grow and bloom in your mindset, lifestyle, health, and wealth. We want you to know that you are capable, beautiful, and worthy. Today, we are going to dive deep into the topic of self-confidence and unlocking the keys to stepping into your greatness. We're here to guide you on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment, babes. Are you tired of playing small and holding yourself back? Well, you're in the right place because today we are going to go over the secrets of building unshakable self-confidence and breaking free of the limitations that have been holding you back. So grab a pen, take some notes, and get ready to unleash your inner powerhouse. All right, Cecily's going to get us started.
I love that. Your inner powerhouse. Okay, listen, we want you to stop playing small with your life, with your goals, with your dreams. Like, we do not do anything small around here. So, first thing you have to do is recognize and start using your God given gifts. So, we really, really believe that it is so important to understand your unique talents. And a big part of what we talk about all the time is not comparing yourself to others. And this is right along that same vein. So, really want to make sure that you recognize and value your unique talents and gifts. Write them down. So reflect on what do you naturally excel at? What do you enjoy doing? What fills your cup? What brings you joy? Like for me, I've talked about this a lot of times. I enjoy public speaking. I enjoy mentoring. I helping other people fills my cup. For a lot of people, that can be really draining. I would not suggest to you that you seek out a career as a leader of other people if that's something that stresses you out, right? But if that's something that naturally brings you joy, explore that, right? So realize that God has created you completely unique from other people for a reason. I know I've said this in previous podcasts before, probably a long time ago, but I want you to think of every single person on this planet like one piece to a giant puzzle, right? And if I try to be like another puzzle piece, the whole puzzle wouldn't get put together, right? God has created every single one of us specifically unique for a reason, all right? In Ephesians 2:10 it says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works which God prepared in advance for us to do." Y'all, God prepared the way for us to do good work. And if we try to bend ourselves to be something else, that's playing small. That is playing so small, I can't even see it. So small, okay? If this is something that's a struggle for you, I want you to try and get feedback from other people because sometimes other people can see us better than we can if we're stuck in some self-limiting beliefs. So I really want you to try and seek feedback from trusted friends, family members about what your strengths and talents are. Ask them, what do you think I'm good at? What do you think I enjoy doing? Because they're probably going to see passion come out of you when you do certain things. And sometimes you're stuck in a pattern of negative self-talk. It can be just hard to see that. So make sure you're asking other people that know you really well, like, hey, what do you think I'm really good at? And what do you think I love to do? Once you recognize these God-given gifts, really want you to, this is where you take your pen and paper out, y'all, today. All right. Want you to make sure that you write down, and this is maybe a good one if you're driving or you're doing something right now, go back and listen to this later with a piece of paper so you can write these things down. So one, what type of activity makes you lose track of time? Like in the best way? Like what activity could you be doing and you look and it's like 2 hours later, you don't even realize you've spent so much time doing it? What skills do people often compliment you on? Okay, I want you to write that down. Think about it. What skill, like, what do people usually say about you? For me, it's always been, hey, you're such a natural speaker. Why I have a microphone on right now and I'm speaking into it. Okay. And then the last question is, what are you naturally curious about? Like, what is it that you love to learn about? What is it that you could spend all day sitting there trying to research and Google and learn about that doesn't feel like it's stressful to you? All right. So write those 3 things down. Think about it. Recognize your God-given gifts. That's the first step into stop playing small.
Love it. All right, guys. Second one is letting go of past failures. And I know that this is hard. And one of the episodes we talked about it, like, here's the deal. You've got to kind of live in the now. You can't keep reliving the past. You've got to let go, move on, and you can't worry about the future, right? So we all fail. We all make mistakes. But the beautiful thing about failure is like we learn, right? So is it actually failing? No, it's going to help you get up and be able to move forward. If you're not if you're not failing, you're not trying, honestly, right?
Yeah.
So acknowledge and accept, right? So do me a favor, kind of take some time to write down some past failures, all right? Take some time to write down these past failures. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take that piece of paper and I want you to rip it up. I want you to,
Love
or
that.
you know what? Burn
Burn
it.
it.
Set it on fire, baby. All right. Because you're letting go. You are letting go because your past failures
Mhm.
do not define your worth. All
Yeah.
right. Number 2 is a growth mindset. It's important to have a mindset of growth and what you can learn from each day and each misstep. Like, again, you're going to learn from those failures, right? It's just like, think about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is, and I'm not going to have like exact numbers, but like, he's the best of the best, man. He's the GOAT. He made so many shots. He had so many points, but he also missed a lot.
Mhm.
Okay. He's not perfect. The more times you shoot, the more you're going to score. Same thing as if you're like in a sales job. It's like,
Yep.
how many people you talk to. The more people you talk to, the more no's you get, what you would consider a failure, then that leads to more yeses, right? So it's all a mindset. And forgiveness, all right? So forgive yourself when you make mistakes, be able to move forward. We kind of already talked about the journaling exercise. I really definitely want you guys to do this. So I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to repeat it one more time, Cecily. I want you to write down all of your past, what you would think are failures, okay? And I want you to rip it up. I want you to set it on fire. I want you to let it go. And also, I want you to pray, right? So just ask God, like, hey, God, please forgive me of X, Y, and Z. Like, I come to you asking for forgiveness and release me from the mistakes that I've made in the past. Grant me the strength to let go of guilt and shame and fill my heart with your loving presence. Amen. Keep it
Mhm.
simple. Keep it simple. You are beautiful. You are worthy. Your past, your mistakes, and I'm in quotations if you're not watching us, your failures do not define who you are.
Yeah. That's so good. And I think the most important thing that we forget is how much we allow our failures to affect our self confidence. Like the second that we fail at something, we really do think, like, that's it. I'm terrible at this. I can't do this. This is the worst thing ever. And at the end of the day, like, if you never mess up, then you don't even know what works or doesn't work. Like, you're just stuck in this box of not trying. And that is the worst place that you can be in. So if you're trying to build your self confidence, if you want to stop playing small with your life, you've got to be willing to make lots of mistakes all the time, big mistakes, and move on from them quickly. Like, any successful person I've listened to, speak or read their book or listened to their podcast, when they speak about mistakes, they're proud of them. They speak about them boldly. They're like, hey, I made the biggest mistakes. I made them early. I made them fast. I made them big. And then I moved on. Like, be willing to make the big mistakes and then be willing to get up and move on twice as fast. Because if you sit in that mistake, it becomes a limiting belief. And we talked about that a lot. Like, it will become a belief that will cripple you and ruin your self-confidence. You have to realize that, like, your mistake is not you. It's just something that happened. And we're over it and we're done. And we don't like hold grudges around here. So we don't even like we're like over, done, moving on. Okay.
Yep.
So the next thing you need to do is take the first step, right? Brandi says this all the time. You are looking at the 10th and 11th step, not the first step, right? I don't look up a flight of stairs and go, oh, how am I going to get to that top step? No, I just take a step. Like, I don't think about it. I just step, okay? You have to stop talking about doing the thing if you're trying to build self-confidence in that, and just do the thing, right? Talking about it, thinking about what you have to do 20 steps from now, that's not going to get you there. If you want to step into your full potential, I'm going to give you a couple of things that you have to do. One, you got to overcome your fear, okay? You got to just overcome your fear. And that can be a really hard thing to do. But just like Brandi talked about journaling, writing down the things that you're fearful of and looking at them on paper, that's what I want you to do with this. So number 3, when we're talking about taking the first step, write down the things that you're fearful of. All right. And then I want you to just cross them out. And then next to it, write what's going to happen once you overcome it. So, like, for me, if I'm like, hey, I don't want to start this business, I'm afraid people aren't going to buy from me. Cross it out. Write it down, cross it out, and think, write down next to it, what if one person buys from me? Just one. You've already ruined that fear. right? Like the smallest step, the first step can destroy those fears that you have. So you have to overcome that fear and self-doubt. All right? Really, really put your trust into God's plan and promise for your life. Y'all, God's plan for your life is good. It is good, and He wants good things for you. And when we sit in fear, we are not letting Him care for us in the way that He wants to. He wants to push you forward. He wants to have these big things happen for you. And when we sit back in fear, we're not trusting Him to do the things. Okay. So I think one really great example of this is just, you know, when Brandi and I talk about this a lot because it's a great example of kind of putting faith over fear. When we wanted to start this podcast, when we wanted to share our hearts with women, there was a lot of times where we thought, well, what if it doesn't work? But then there was a moment where we said, okay, well, what could happen if we do this? Like, who could be impacted? And that was so much bigger than the fear. It allows for courageous action. You guys, courage happens when you do something even when you're scared, okay? So you have to take courageous action in taking that first step. Be courageous, all right? I also want you to stop comparing yourself to other people. Y'all, this is a dangerous thing to do. Like, I know that sounds pretty dramatic. I'm being a little melodramatic right now, but it is dangerous to compare yourself to someone else because one, you're dulling your sparkle, babe. Like straight up, you are dulling the sparkle of who you are when you think for even just a second that you were created to be anything like anyone else. Like straight up, you are unique. What you have to deliver is unique. Do you know how many people I'm a trainer. I have for the last 10 years operated a successful boot camp fitness company, all right? And there's a million boot camps out there. There's a million fitness companies out there. There's a gym on every corner. Do you know what would happen if I sat here and compared myself to every single one of them? I'd be dead in the water. And that's just speaking from a business standpoint, like dead in the water. But you know what? There are people that come to me that won't go anywhere else because I have something unique that they need. And there are people who won't come to me that will go somewhere else because that person has something that they need. But I think in the billions of people that are on this planet, there is enough to go around, right? Like I could be standing in a room full of people and I'm not afraid that the oxygen is going to run out of the room, right? Like think about it that way. Like if you're afraid to be unique, if you're comparing yourself to someone else, am I afraid that the oxygen is going to run out of the room if someone else jumps in the room and like I'm not like get out, you're going to suck out all the air. No, I'm like, "Oh, okay. We're all good." Right? Like you're not meant to be like everyone else. Stop comparing yourself to somebody else.
That's good. So I love what you just said there with like in comparison to boot camps and training. So we talk about it a lot. Like there's so many people in this world that need your service and need you and your new unique gifts. And right now, like we're both in that health and wellness atmosphere. We have been for a very long time. My training is mostly online now. I've been a trainer for 17 years, believe it or not. But like there's so many girls on Instagram. There's so many different ways you can train and there's so many gyms, like Cesley just said. Here's the deal. You might not be everybody's cup of tea. So at the end of the day, if you are in the position as a trainer, your main goal should be to help people, right? You want everybody on this earth to feel and live better. Well, maybe somebody doesn't align with your boot camp. They align with hot yoga down the road. Maybe they don't align with your training, but they align with Linda's training because maybe she's not as, crazy as you. I'm crazy. I'm like, when I used to teach boot camps, 5 a.m, your girl's dancing, she's singing. I am not everybody's cup of tea. What's probably because I'm actually a glass of, Prosecco. Not
Bubbles.
actually a cup
You're
of
bubbles,
tea.
babe.
I'm bubbly, baby. But just remember that too, right? Like you're not everybody's cup of tea and that's okay. But there are people who need you that are going to gravitate to you. Nothing in life should ever be competition or comparison, especially, oh my gosh, we talk about it all the time, but I can't stop it, Cecily. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Women need to stop competing with each other. Women need to stop competing with each other. Women need to stop competing with each other. They need to be uplifting each other. I think about Caitlin Clark. Do you know what I'm talking about when I think about Caitlin Clark? And do you know who Caitlin Clark is, Cecily?
No.
Sports.
I'm
So
gonna sports, team sports. Yeah.
Team sports, yeah.
Love
Okay,
sports.
so Caitlin Clark is now she's in the WNBA, so basketball. She's a great college player. She broke a lot of records, but like there's a lot of controversy and a lot of things going on because women in the WNBA right now are being so cruel to her, so mean to her on and off the field. And what court, I should say, not field. What I don't understand is like she's bringing viewers to the WNBA. She is helping them all get sponsorships and make money. So instead of talking about her and putting her down and trying to abuse her on the court, they should be like locking arms with her and say, let's go, right? It is so sad. We see in all aspects of life and it just breaks our heart. So never compete with anybody else. Okay. Next, let's move on. Number 4 is building yourself up. And I'm going to actually go through these pretty quickly because these are all things that we talk about all the time here at Blooming Through Faith. Okay. So one is positive self-talk, right? So we talked about it last episode. Replace negative self-talk with positive self-talk, okay? Affirmations every day. Wake up and say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am unique and I am perfect the way that I am. Start setting achievable goals. Start understanding that, yes, you can aim high, but like, how are we going to get there? Right. So like, we use health a lot. So let's use like a financial goal, right? You have a goal of paying off $20,000 in credit card debt. Cool. So how are you going to get there? So what are you going to eliminate each month? Maybe it's subscriptions, maybe it's something else, right? So say, hey, I'm going to look at all of what I'm doing each month and I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to cancel this. And I'm going to put 200 towards that credit card bill. Boom, boom, boom. Like what is a small way that you're going to work towards that big goal? Make it in bite-sized achievable steps. Okay. And celebrate success. Okay. So when you do that, right? We're still on the credit card breakdown. Give yourself like a pat on the back, have a glass of wine with your husband. Like, hey, we just saved X amount of money. We just paid off whatever it is. Like celebrate your success and your achievements, no matter how small. And this is our favorite thing. Practice gratitude. All right. Have a gratitude journal where you are waking up and you are thankful for the things that you have. And you're also reflecting on the day before and the things that you achieved. Because again, we go through the day to day and we're like, oh my gosh, yesterday it was so hard. I didn't get anything done. Well, wait a second, babe. Yes, you did. Write down one thing that you're positive about. And I am just going to like do a cool little plug for our gratitude journal because baby, we have it. They're called Blooming Through Faith. You can get them on the website. You can get them off of Amazon. And what I love about our gratitude journal is it actually is guided. Okay. So talking about affirmations, talking about prayers, we have a whole list of daily affirmations. I'm just going to say a few. Okay. So I am rooted in faith and bloom with purpose. Every step I take is guided by divine light. I trust the journey for it's part of my growth, right? So they're literally in this journal. We have 30 daily affirmations. We have 30 daily prayers, and then it is guided. So today, what am I grateful for? What's going to help me glow up and grow up today? When you write down like, what's going to help me grow today? You write it down like, get a workout in. To knock this thing off my to-do list, do the dishes. Guess what you gonna do, babe? You gonna do those 3 things. It's 3 things. You can knock it out. They're gonna help you glow and grow. And then you have your affirmations and prayers. So if you don't have our gratitude journal, no big deal. Just use those steps that I just told you. You don't even have to buy it if you don't want to. But do that every single day. Write that down, all right? And have a goal setting worksheet. Go back to, I think it was like our 2nd or 3rd episode, and we talked about how New Year's resolutions aren't realistic and goal setting is more important. Go take a listen, and maybe you set goals at the beginning. And now we're in June. I was about to say May, but shoot, we in June, baby.
We're in June.
So revisit that. Look at your goals. Each month you should be revisiting those goals and those small action steps to achieving them.
Yeah. Love that. Love, love, love. So really quickly, before we wrap this up for you guys, we want to talk about some practical tips for like daily confidence building, because this doesn't just happen all at once, right? Like we don't just wake up and be like, okay, I listened to the podcast. I am confident. I'm no longer playing small with my life. I am going. Like it takes time. Okay. We got to break some bad habits. So every single day, it is so important that you establish a daily routine. All right. It's going to help build your confidence because it's kind of like checking things off a checklist, right? When you do something that you said you were going to do, all right, it builds your confidence in such a great way because you realize that even if it's a little teeny tiny small goal, like I have a little checklist on my phone. Every day, the night before, if I have things on my to-do list, I will put it in that checklist. Like even if it's I have Bible and prayer time. I have workout. I have run my boot camp. Like I have the things that even the things I already know I'm going to do the next day, I have it on there because when I check it off on my daily routine, it builds confidence in, okay, I said I was going to do this thing and then I did it. I am capable of doing things because a lot of times you're stuck in a pattern of negative self-talk. You could do really great things all day long and have maybe one misstep or one unconfident moment, and it will ruin your whole day of thinking. You're going to sit there and go, oh, well, I ruined this day because I didn't work out for an hour. But if you have that checklist and you can go back and look like and say, oh, look at all the things I have accomplished today. I actually did stick to my goals. So make sure that you have a daily routine. Make sure it's written down somewhere or on a note tab on your cell phone to where you can really see the things visually that you are accomplishing every day. It's a huge marker for self-confidence and mental confidence there. Okay. Number 2 is make sure that you spend time in prayer and meditation. I know we talk about this a lot. We harp on it a lot. But you guys, it is so important. You have to clear your mind of your negative self-talk, your negative doubts, all of the things that are making you not confident. All right. All of the things that are holding you back from playing big with your life. You have to spend intentional time getting rid of those things and filling your mind with the things that are going to connect you with God and receive his guidance. Okay. And then number 3 is going to be physical health. I know we're trainers, we talk about this a lot, but there's a connection between physical health and self-confidence, okay? So if you're having a time in your life, a period in your life where you're not feeling the most confident, you're having a struggle with moving forward and you're just kind of feeling like you're stuck, go for a walk, all right? Put it in your day. Do something that is physically active, all right? I promise you it will make such a difference in you'll feel stronger. Not even about just sweating and what it does for your body. Like forget all that. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to feel like you have done something physically. There's a mental connection with exercise, okay? If you could just go for a walk, go for a run, lift some weights, do something that physically makes your body move, there's a mental connection with that builds your confidence because physically you have struggled and overcome. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like you've struggled and overcome something. So your brain immediately goes, oh, I've accomplished something. Like dopamine, serotonin, happy hormones start flooding. We love that, right? The next one is throw comparison out the window. Okay. Write that down. Seriously, tips for building self-confidence, throw comparison out the window. You are not built to be like anybody else. Okay. And then don't live in fear. Write down your fears that come out of your mind each day. So the second that a fearful thought comes into your head or just a self-doubt or just a low self-confidence moment, like if you put on a good thing for women, like we try on a lot of clothes and we think we look bad in a lot of them, just straight up. Like you'll try on a piece of clothing and you'll have 5 negative things to say about your body. The second you do that, write it down. Because if you have to look and put eyes on the things you say about yourself, your opinion is really going to change. Like you're going to look at it and go, oh my gosh, like how is it possible that I can think these things about myself? So really, I want to encourage you, if you struggle with self-confidence, anytime you have a negative thought, write it down, look at it, cross it out and replace it with the truth. Like physically cross it out and replace it with the truth. It's really, really important. And it also helps you to identify what affects your self-confidence because you might be talking badly to yourself in your head all day long. And it's such a natural habit. You don't even realize it until you write it all down. And then you realize, oh, I'm not confident in these areas. You can see it and identify it. All right. And then make sure that you have a support system. Y'all, you become the people who you run with, straight up. Okay. It is so important to surround yourself with positive and encouraging people and people who are going to call you out if you're talking to yourself negatively, if you're fostering low confidence. They're going to call you out on it. They're going to hold you accountable. They're not going to let you do it.
So good. Surround yourself and lock arms with like-minded people who really care about you and want to see you successful and love yourself. I want to go back to one thing Cecily said, and then we're going to land this plane because I know not everybody has listened to all of our episodes, even though this has been mentioned in the past. Do this if you haven't already. Like write down all of those negative things that you think about yourself and then look at it and then look at your daughter, look at your best friend, look at your mom and tell me if you would say any of those things to your mom. Would you say, Mom, you're fat? Would you say, Cecily, you're not capable of achieving those goals. You're dumb. Would you say, daughter, no, you shouldn't wear that. That doesn't look good on you. No, you would never talk to another woman the way that you talk or think about yourself. So stop
Yeah.
it.
So good.
Okay. As we bring this episode to a close, remember that building self-confidence is not just a destination, but a lifelong journey. Take what you've learned today and apply it with intention to your daily life. Celebrate your progress. Be patient with yourself in moments of doubt. And always remember that you are worthy of all the success and all the happiness that life has to offer. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep believing in yourself and watch as your confidence grows stronger with each passing day. And remember, you're worthy, you're capable, you're beautiful, and we can't wait to watch you grow, girl.